Here's all of our parts broken down. Put them all through the parts washer, and so there's not much there. The only thing I didn't do is I didn't put the clutch through, and I didn't put the bearing through. I didn't put the gasket through. But everything else got a bit of a clean. So I think what I'll do is I'll start cutting up some materials and figure out some sizes, and I'll kind of show you what. This is all aluminum stock. So we have all different kinds of sizes and whatnot. From that's an 8 right through to 4" by 5/8 and 3/4, and it's like 1" there. So there's lots to choose from. A bunch of stainless. It's really all we work in, stainless and aluminum. So a bunch of stainless shafts and all kinds of threaded rod. So there's lots to choose from. Okay, that's kind of where I'm at so far. You can see I got that hub mounted. I'm just using the crank to mount the drill so I can locate this bit. So I got a couple more holes, a couple more tapped holes in this part, and then I'll just make some kind of a some kind of a bracket that screws on here. All right, there's the final version. The only problem that we have is that I don't know if you can see that, but the clutch is not, there's not enough RPMs to engage that clutch. You can engage it once in a while. But I think that we're going to scrap the clutch. You can see that I've got my housing on backwards here because I screwed up my, my undercut. So I'll get that flipped around on the right way, and we're going to use a through shaft. I'll pull this apart and I'll show you what that looks like and what it's going to look like without that clutch. Okay, here's it disassembled. And this is that centrifugal clutch. That's the shaft that I came up with. So that just runs up through, gets clamped on into the drill. My intention was to put a three-sided, three-side this so that it had grip on the drill. But I realized that that it wasn't gonna. It was too heavy of a clutch to be able to spin with that. It was my fear from the beginning. So what I did was I ran this in a mill, and I got it up to 2,000 RPM, and it still wouldn't engage in this cup. And at that speed, I was nervous with my hands on it, so I shut it down at that point. Thought the drill's never going to make that kind of a speed. So what we're going to do is we're going to go straight through, direct that gear. That gear just goes right in here and drives that second gear. So what we're going to do is we're going to make that shaft straight through and into the drill, and go 1-to-1 into that gear, and then that transfers into our auger. So another day. Really, it's not bad. I mean, I've had this thing together and apart 15 times probably. So I got to switch this around. I did my undercut on the wrong side of this plate. So, well, I didn't do it on the wrong side. I just thought that this piece was facing this way, and this piece should have been facing that way in order to line up with that notch. You can see there's a little notch that. So I'll get that flipped around. Somehow come up with a shaft. I'm guessing that I'm going to cut that whole cup right off, and I don't know. Somehow get a shaft attached to this one, and we'll go from there and just drive it directly. So we're getting close. Okay, I'm starting to get somewhere on this thing. I remade that shaft, got rid of the clutch, so I have to rip this thing apart again to pack it full of grease. So, but with that direct drive, we're turning. So that's a good thing. I still need to come up with some kind of a trigger. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do that. And I'm going to do a bit of work to this auger. Make sure that it's good. And we should be cut nice soon. Okay, here's the shaft that I made. This is the original portion, and if you remember, there's a cup that came off of this portion. I just knocked that cup off. That's the cup that our clutch originally rode in. Knocked that off, and then I made this shaft. This is a one-piece shaft, and to attach them together, all I did was I just took this portion and kind of stepped it. So these are our splines, and then the mating portion, the shaft that I made, I just made the exact opposite. So that's a press fit, between these two, and this is a, you know, an open orifice that I just filled with JB Weld. So I just kind of made some scores and stuff to give the JB Weld something to grab onto and hopefully drive. So I pressed the two of them together. The JB Weld oozed out the bottom of it, so I had to clean all that up. So I think that'll help us, but I don't think this thing is going to see a lot of heavy use, you know, for long periods of time. So I think this is fine. So that just goes back into there and gets captured by the drill, and then these two pieces, when they mate together, they capture this portion so it doesn't slip around. I'm going to fill that back with grease. Originally that had no grease in it because that was the clutch housing, and that's greaseless. So, and then this sucker's got to get filled with grease, and we should be good to go, and then I can start working on triggers. Alright, there's the final version I came up with. So it seems to work good. This is just a stainless rod that I've bent to grab that trigger, and then used a split collar. I had to put a little spacer in there to make up for that diameter. And then once I got it all set where I wanted it, you can see I pinned it right through. I just drilled right through the collars, the spacer, and the shaft there to pin everything. So hopefully that won't slip. There's return spring. So next step was to take it to the ice and try it out. I think it's going to cut ice. I just don't know how efficiently it's going to do it. I don't think I saved myself any weight. It seems pretty heavy, but I don't know, it's pretty sturdy. I could probably, you know, I would feel better about throwing this in the back of a sled. So we got to cut ice before we get into transporting this thing. So let's cut ice. So it's recording now. I'm just going to drill some holes right here. Okay. we saw it. It cuts ice. It's probably not the fastest thing in the world. I don't think I'd want to cut any more than 6 inches of ice with it, but it does work, and I think I will use it as long as I'm not cutting anything too thick. The ice we were cutting today was probably 5 inches or something, just fishing ponds. We're pretty south right now, so anything north is not going to fly with this thing. So, but it is what it is. It didn't cost me anything, and it was kind of a fun project to do. So, any questions, feel free to ask. I don't know that I would recommend building one of these things unless you had a bit of time on your hand and some resources, but economically it doesn't make sense. Just go out and buy a K drill or something like that. But there it is. Thanks for watching.